Hey, you've just stepped into the Caring Corner, where life's caregiving challenges meet a whole lot of heart and a dash of sass. I'm Michelle O'Neill, and I'm here to serve up insights, inspiration, and real life tools to help you navigate caring for your kids and aging loved ones without forgetting about you. Expect everything from time management hacks and emotional wellness strategies to technology tips sprinkled with humor and tenacity. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Have you ever felt like you're slowly disappearing into the background of your own life story? You know, we often pay a cost that is unseen and unspoken. We battle with losing our sense of self and the heavy silence of isolation that can haunt us in even the most crowded of rooms. This isn't just about the physical toll or the hours logged. It's about the emotional landscape that we're often navigating alone. Have you ever had that moment when you find yourself standing in the kitchen surrounded by the noise of daily life, feeling alone and unseen? It's doing everything right on the surface, yet inside you're gasping for the breath of your former self. It's a wake-up call. A realization that while we're so focused on being everything for everyone, we're slowly fading away from the person that we knew ourselves to be. This is when you begin to understand that caregiving and its relentless demand for attention and energy can sometimes leave us feeling more like a ghost in our own lives than the vibrant woman that we once were. Hey, I'm Michelle O'Neill, and you are here on the Caring Corner. And today we're diving deep into this because recognizing the issue is the first step towards reclaiming the identity and connections that caregiving can suppress. So if you've ever felt lost, finding your way back is not just possible, it's crucial. For many of us, especially women navigating the complexities of generational caregiving alongside our careers and aspirations for personal wellness, this loss of self isn't marked by a single moment or event. It's the increasing effect of days and months and even years spent putting others first, of constant movement to the bottom of our priority list until one day we look in the mirror and struggle to recognize the person staring back at us. And I'm not just talking about these years in caregiving, because some of us has just started. But what I'm talking about is the years in our life we as women from the very beginning are taught nurturing and caring and taking care of others. What did we do as little girls? We took this beautiful little doll baby that we were given and we take care of her. We love her. We clothe her. We give her a bottle. We talk to her. And she's not even real. But we've spent most of the days of our lives taking care of others, putting them first before ourselves. And the reason behind this is compounded as the lives we lead. It's multi-layered and multifaceted. It's the phone calls that pull us away from a quiet moment alone, or the emergency that cuts short our attempt at doing something that we really love, that hobby or whatever. And the exhaustion that makes the idea of taking a moment for self-care feels like, well, actually, just another chore. It's the societal expectation that we must be all things to all people, and that our worth is measured by how well we care for others, often at the expense of caring for ourselves. I've spoken with many caregivers who describe this feeling as being erased from our own stories. One shared with me, I used to paint. Now I can barely find the time to just pick up a brush. And when I do, I feel so disconnected from the person who used to stand confidently in front of that canvas. And another confessed that it feels like I'm playing a role every day, one that I didn't audition for. I'm a caregiver, a professional, a parent, but I can't find the part of me that's just me. This loss of self-identity isn't just about missed hobbies or neglected passions. It's about the erosion of our sense of individuality, the parts of us that make us unique and give color and texture to our very existence. It's about dreams deferred and quiet submission to a life where we're always in service to someone else's needs, where our own desires and aspirations are whispered secrets that we barely allow ourselves to acknowledge. The cost of this vanishing self extends beyond what we typically consider. And I don't want to leave you here. I want you to know right up front that although I'm describing what goes on in our lives, there is a way out. There is a way for things to get better. There is so much more. But I want you to know I get it. It's not just the financial toll of caregiving or the physical exhaustion. It's the emotional and psychological impact of losing touch with who we are at the core. We question our choices, wonder, what if? And we long for a space where we can simply be ourselves without the weight of our many roles and responsibilities. And those responsibilities are full and heavy. Listen, as we navigate this journey, it's crucial to remember that acknowledging this loss is not an act of selfishness, is not something to be hidden and pushed aside. It's an act of self-preservation, recognizing the importance of our own identity and taking even small steps to reclaim it is essential, not just for our well-being, but for our ability to continue caring for others with compassion and strength. So, to those of you who are listening, who feel like shadows of your former self, know this: your identity is not lost. It's waiting to be rediscovered, uncovered, nurtured, and celebrated. Together, let's explore how we can begin to reclaim the vibrant colors of our stories, even in the middle of the demands of caregiving. For many of us, especially those just starting on this journey, isolation is, well, it's surprising and it's challenging. The quiet comes not from the lack of noise, don't get me wrong, but from a lack of understanding, a lack of connection, and of shared experience. How many times do you want to talk to someone and you know, even before you start the conversation, that they just don't get it? Or you're in the middle of explaining something and you're looking in their eyes and you see right there that they're totally clueless. Imagine being surrounded by people all day, engaged in conversations, making decisions, offering comfort, and yet at the end of the day, feeling totally alone. This is the irony of caregiving. You're never truly alone, yet in the sense of isolation, it can be so overwhelming. It's like speaking a language only you understand, living in a world that's moving at a different pace than the rest of society. This isolation I'm talking about isn't just about physical solitude, it's emotional. It results from days filled with duties that leave little room for the kind of social interaction that actually nourishes the soul. For example, it skipped coffee with friends because no one else can attend the doctor's appointment, or missing family get-togethers because you're needed somewhere else. Over time, these missed connections, they add up. And the disconnect between you and your social circle, it grows greater and the chasm is wider. Look, I can't stress enough the importance of social support and community. It takes a village, not just to raise a child, but to care for another human being. It takes a village. Yet, for many caregivers, finding that village, that community that truly understands and can share the burden can be absolutely overwhelming. One expert that I spoke with said isolation is one of the most significant, yet most overlooked challenges of caregiving. Humans are social creatures, and when we're cut off from our networks and support system, it's not just our emotional health that suffers, but our physical health can decline too. You need to remember evidence of this. You need to really see this in action. Look at the time, that the 4 years that we're in COVID. Yeah, many of you say two, but in actuality, in the time of getting back in the swing of things, is 3 to 4 years, 2 years heavy, where that social interaction and connection had been stripped away from us, and we declined as a race, the human race. So, what can we do? How can we prepare ourselves for this isolation and work to ease its effects? Intentional action. It's about creating and maintaining connections, even in small ways. It's about finding our tribe, other caregivers who understand and who can share in the unique challenges and joy of this role. It's about leveraging technology to stay in touch when physical meetups aren't possible. It's about being honest with those around us about our needs and the realities of our situation. And I'm saying be honest with yourself as well. Building a network of support, whether through local groups, online communities, or through friends and family who may not even understand but are willing to listen, is critical. This network becomes our lifeline, a way to bridge the gaps between our world and the rest of society. That's why I started Women Balancing Caregiving, Careers, and Self-Care. I like to think of that group as a sanctuary for women just like you, who are the heartbeat of their families. It was born from from an understanding of the silent battle against caregiving fatigue and burnout, coupled with enormous task of maintaining our personal wellness. Consider this right now, your personal invitation from me to join us. Let's grow this thing. It's a group that I've started on Facebook. It's called Women Balancing Caregiving, Careers, and Self-Care. And we'd love to hear you. We want it to blow up as women who are dedicated to help, encourage, and lift up each other and provide resources, guidance, and even a little advice. Look, as we navigate the early stages of caregiving, let's make a pact to prioritize connection. Let's remind ourselves that reaching out isn't a sign of weakness, but of strength. It's an acknowledgement that while we may be caregivers, we're also human beings who need love and support and companionship. If you're feeling the weight of isolation, know this: you're not alone. Many are walking the same path, feeling the same emotions, and facing the same challenges. And together, let's break the silence of isolation and build a community of understanding, support, and strength. I promise you, I would get real today about what you can do to hold onto who you are and reduce that sense of being all on your own. I know it may feel like there's just no time or energy left for you at the end of your day. But here's the thing, it's not an option. First, let's talk about keeping that connection to yourself alive. Remember those things that light you up, that make you feel like, well, like you. It could be as simple as reading a book or gardening or painting or even just enjoying a cup of coffee. And you always hear me talking about coffee because I love the taste of coffee, even if it's decaf. But it could even be about enjoying a cup of coffee in utter silence. It doesn't have to be big or time consuming. It just needs to be something for you. And I can't talk about this enough. The trick is to make it non-negotiable, like a meeting you can't miss. Even 10 minutes a day can start to make a difference. That's all I'm asking. 10 minutes. Now, I'm feeling isolated. How can we feel less isolated? Support groups and online communities can be a game changer. There's something so powerful about sharing your story and hearing others. It makes you feel seen and understood. And these spaces can offer not just emotional support, but practical advice from those who really get it. If you're not sure where to start, a quick search online can lead to forums and groups. Or if you prefer something more structured, let me tell you, girl, therapy can be incredibly helpful. It provides a space just for you to talk about what you're going through with someone trained to help you. And because I know this is just so important, I am lining up a guest for you who's a therapist, a wonderful therapist. And we're going to talk about how and when to seek therapy. And what about social activities? I hear you. It sounds crazy when your schedule's already packed, but think small and manageable. Maybe it's a weekly phone call with a friend where you both vent or laugh about anything and everything. Or maybe perhaps you join a class or a group that meets once a month. Once a month. The idea is just to create little pockets of connection in your life without overwhelming your schedule. I am so thrilled that I have another special guest coming soon, actually next week, that is going through some of these same things. And I am excited to share her story with you. Here's the thought. Could you combine caregiving tasks with social time? For instance, if you're taking a loved one for a walk, invite a friend to join. It's about finding those small opportunities to weave your social life into your caregiving responsibilities so you're caring for your loved one and yourself at the same time. Taking mom out shopping, tell a friend and tell them to come along. How much more fun is shopping when three instead of two or four? Go have a great lunch, have fun together. Remember, maintaining your sense of self and staying connected, it isn't just add-ons to your life. They're critical as the caregiving you provide. It's about finding balance bit by bit in a way that works for you. And it's okay to start small. What matters is that you start. So before I leave, I want to cap off today's discussion with a deep dive into empowerment and resilience. Caregiving isn't just about the physical and emotional tasks. It's about navigating the personal journey that accompanies it, the sacrifices, the sense of isolation, and the desire to maintain your identity in the middle of it all. Look, empowerment comes from knowledge and preparation. Understanding the potential paths that your journey may take allows you to prepare emotionally and practically. It's back to that stop, drop, and roll. If you practice that over and over again, when something comes your way, you're gonna know what to do instinctively. When you think about every and each which way that this could possibly go, and you set up a plan for it, a plan A, B, C, it doesn't floor you so much. Knowledge equips you. Whether you learn about your loved one's specific needs or familiarize yourself with the resources available in your community, this knowledge we're talking about equips you to make informed decisions and feel less at the mercy of circumstances or at the whim of others. And then, well, there's building resilience. It's closely tied to self-compassion. Yeah, you heard me right. Recognize that feeling overwhelmed or experiencing moments of doubt doesn't mean that you're failing. I'm going to say right up front, you're learning. It means you're human. Allow yourself grace. Practicing self-compassion involves acknowledging your feelings. Yeah, I feel this way. And I even may want to wallow for a second. Notice I said a second. But then forgiving yourself for perceived shortcomings. Did you catch that word? Perceived shortcomings. And understanding that you're doing your best in a challenging situation. I'm going to get real with you. I love what I do. And I understand how important it is to support you amazing ladies. And so many times I struggle with the thought of thinking that I need to be everything that you may need, that I need to know everything about everything so that I can give you the best information, that I can help you, you foresee anything that may happen. Oh, I want so bad to be that person, but I'm not. I can't know all and be all, but I can give you everything I have. And what I don't have, I can bring people who do have it and share them with you. But the struggle is real because I have such a heart for who you are and what you do. And yes, I'm on the journey too. And so, what can we do? One actionable strategy for maintaining your sense of self and preventing isolation is to create a personal ritual for renewal. This can be a daily walk, a few minutes of journaling, or a weekly hobby that's just for you. These rituals become sacred spaces in your routine, non-negotiable times for replenishing your spirit and reconnecting with yourself. And let's talk about, I can't say this enough, leveraging community for strength. The shared experiences within caregiving support groups or online forums can be incredibly validating and empowering. These communities offer a sounding board, a place for advice, and most importantly, a reminder that you're not alone. And engaging in these communities can help reduce your sense of isolation and provide practical tips for those who truly understand and from those who truly understand. Finally, consider turning your caregiving experience into advocacy. Many caregivers find a renewed sense of purpose and identity in advocating for issues related to their loved one's condition or broader caregiving community. This can be as simple as sharing your story to raise awareness, or involved as well participating in advocacy groups or community planning. And I'm excited to say I already have a guest lined up for this. One who is amazingly knowledgeable about dementia. And I can't wait for you to hear some of the mind-blowing things that I've learned from just our conversation together. Look, as we wrap up today's conversation, remember that caregiving is as much about the caregiver's journey as it is about providing care. Empowerment, resilience, renewal are not just buzzwords. They're actionable, achievable states of being that can transform your caregiving experience from one of survival to one of strength and fulfillment. And as you move forward, I encourage you to take one small step today towards building resilience and reclaiming your sense of self, whether it's marking down time for personal rituals, and I mean marking it on your calendar, or reaching out to a support group, or simply sitting with your thoughts and acknowledging your efforts. Know that each small step is a leap towards empowerment. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this time with me, for opening your heart to this conversation, and for everything that you do as the amazing caregiver that you are. Let me tell you, you're seen, you're valued, and you're not alone. I want to encourage you once again to join our group. You have my personal invitation. And if this conversation has struck a chord, if it had resonated with you in any way, subscribe, comment, review, and most importantly, if you know someone who needs to hear this, just like you did, share. Until next time, thank you for being here with me today. Take care. Stay strong. Bye-bye. All right, that's a wrap for today at the Caring Corner. We've tackled some big topics, but remember, you're not in this alone. Subscribe to keep the wisdom and warmth coming, and stay tuned for amazing guests who'll be joining us to help round out your caregiving toolkit. Catch you next time, and keep conquering those challenges.